Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 43. Today is going to be a little bit different because I want to share some material and connect some material and then spend some time telling you a big story that happened to me, because I think there are many takeaways from it. And I truly believe that spiritual work, yes, it's an experience. Yes, we're looking for the gifts for us personally, but it's about the application, because the gifts and the experiences don't come without applying the gifts. We receive messages, we receive inspiration, and then that's a good feeling. That's lovely. That feels, high or clear or inspired. But when we live it, that's where the real grace comes for me. So, just in case you haven't seen any of the recent episodes, I've been talking a little bit about the I that's always with you. And you could call that the Holy Spirit, but it's very tangible for all of us because there's an I that's always been you, I think. If you go back to remembering yourself when you were 5 and when you were 10 and when you were 20, there's a Lynn or a David or a Rosalind or a Maggie or a Tom. That's the same as when you were 40 or 70, or for some of us, 80. What is that I? That I that's so different from the me. I know this is an arbitrary language shift. The me would be the ego, the personality, the person who changes, the person who reacts, the person who listens at 10 to different loops in their brain and different feelings, different perceptions. The course is really, really big on perception is not knowledge. But for the benefit of the story I'm going to tell you, let's not use that definition. Let's use the perceiver as the witness, a little further back from the one who knows you're crying or you're screaming or you're laughing, but the observer of even the one that's noticing the screaming, the crying, the melancholy, or whatever. So just a little further back. So we have a perceiver and what is perceived. And the perceiver that's further back, like one step back from noticing that you're triggered, noticing that you're stressed. But the one that notices that, the entity, it's not really an entity, it's all of you. But just for the sake of defining an experience that we all have, we have the experience that we're in, we have the noticer who's maybe even judging, and then we have that which notices the judger. So, Dove's favorite, one of Dove's favorites, and he says, trust would settle every problem. ACIM 25. What is it? Section 8, paragraph 2. I pretty much live that way, but what am I trusting? Am I trusting the message from the I that is, or Holy Spirit, if you will? It's always steady, it's consistent, it's quiet, it has no judgment. It doesn't say, ugh, you, or there you go again in that attitude. That's the ego, that's the me. So I had an experience this week when someone from the class that I do with Dove sent me an email and said, do you have a minute to help me out with something just by email? So I thought, sure, I have a minute. Now, the reason I told you what class it is that there are many people in the class. I don't know their stories. When they come from Jennifer, I've been around there enough that I know people's histories. I have a lot of, sometimes tangential, but I kind of am aware of something about their story or their history. There's a bigger connection. But some of the people in that class with Dove, I only know from the class. And just to give you a little history on the request that's coming, last year, there was a person who I also don't know very well. I know her from tap dancing, but I just know her from the dressing room where you put your shoes on. And perhaps I've been friendly to her. I've helped her out, just comforting her about her husband, but we never had a phone conversation or a date outside tap dancing. So it's the same with this person who was requesting something from me. But it was the same request. This woman that I know from last year said, would you buy a Google Play card for me for this person? It's very important. It's her birthday today. And for some reason, my bank card is all tied up and they're checking and they said it'll be a few days till my money is free. I can't charge anything. Would you buy this for me? I said, well, I don't know how to do that. I've never bought a Google Play card. She said, I'll send you the link. Well, I was a good Samaritan that day. And it went on trying to buy this Google Play card. I won't bore you with the details. Finally, I said, this is too much. I have spent X amount of hours on this. I have other projects. I think that you'll just have to write your friend a note and say exactly what happened. You tried, I tried. You'll get the card to her in a few days. And the person was angry. And I was like, that's okay. I did what I was willing to do. I was at peace with it. I didn't feel badly, but I did remember the words Google Play card and what a nightmare it was. So getting back to the experience from this class, this woman wrote to me. She's a lovely person, lovely, person. She wrote to me and said, I have a friend, her parents died of COVID this year. She has stage 4 cancer, breast cancer, which has metastasized. And I would really love to buy her a $200 Google Play card for her birthday. It's today. And my bank card has been tied up and I can't send it myself. Would you do it for me? I said, I don't know if I can. I said, if you want to send me the link, I'll try. Well, she sent me a link and it worked out perfectly. It went through, except Amazon tied it up because they were concerned, but I got it through by talking to them. And that was fine. Then my friend wrote back, my acquaintance from the class, wrote back and said, you know, she got the card, but she says that I had promised her I would help her fulfill this project and the $200 isn't enough. Could you send her another $200? And I went to my husband and I said, who does that? Who says whatever the gift, even if it isn't enough, who says send me more? Like, ugh. But, you know, I decided that, well, he promised her that she would be able to do this project, and the friend wasn't able to do it. So this acquaintance from the class, she said, I'll help you. I'll do the other $200. So this time it goes through quickly. So that's fine. It was easy. A couple days later, I'm thinking about the money and I'm thinking, you know, I did get a thank you from my friend. And she said that the girl was overjoyed and overwhelmed and so happy. So good. Oh, feeling good. You know, everybody's good. So that was on a Friday that we sent the Google Play card. And by Tuesday or Wednesday, I hadn't heard anything. And I don't remember exactly the words, but I started checking in with my friend and saying, you know, how is it going with your bank? Is your money free yet? Here's how you can pay me. And there was a delay. And she said, my email has been hacked. And I've had a lot of problems with emails. Did you get, because I said, I haven't heard from you. She said, well, did you get my emails? I said, no. Why don't you send them to this other email? Well, I didn't hear back. So then I wondered whether that was even true from my friend, that she sent these emails because she couldn't send them to the other account. But I don't know this person, but I remember saying to my husband when I first got the request, because the Amazon card has a joint credit card. So I knew my husband would see this. So this wasn't just between the woman and me. This involved him. So I said, you're going to see this 200 and then another 200 on the bill when it comes. And I said, I trust this woman with my life. So, you know, he's fine with it. He did think it was weird that somebody asked for more, especially at $200, asked for another 200, but that was between them. And so I didn't hear anything back about how this woman was going to pay me. So by Thursday, Friday, I started having feelings of this is a little bit weird. She's not really on it. And she keeps telling me that her email has been hacked. And I'm asked, and she says, how can I help you? And I say, either pay this way or pay that way, or tell me what your plan to pay me is. And she says, my email has been hacked. And I said, well, what does that have to do with this request? She says, I never asked you for any money. I said, what? How can you say that when you asked money for your friend? Well, here's the piece. It isn't just about the Google Play card and this person. It's about, I'm starting to now, some people would say, feel triggered. I'm feeling annoyed, which is another way to say angry. I'm feeling a little bit scared about the trustworthiness of this friend, because now she's denying that she asked me for herself, even though it was for a friend. And it's a little weird. She's not telling me her plan to pay me. So then some time goes by, I don't really hear from her. And I say, are you in some kind of trouble? Do you need help? Were you really asking, pay me money? And that was a ruse about your friend? Because I don't really want to make up stories about you, but I'm starting to wonder. But going back to what I was feeling, here I am, one of the teachers, if you will, of this class, or at least the facilitator. There's a certain image, but I'm not there. When I do meditations and when I speak, I don't feel like I'm in a role. I speak from my heart. I feel that I have never once represented someone or something that I don't 100% embody or feel. So I was aware that these feelings that I'm asking with real clarity, I don't say I'm annoyed. I don't write when I'm full of feeling. I do nothing. But the feelings of doubt, fear, anger, I'm being guided to not dump on this person, but say with clarity, help me. I am wondering, and in one way or another, keep sharing that I'm feeling not very peaceful about having given you this money. Well, this went on. She was concerned that I thought she needed help. I think that was the thing. I don't know what made her answer again. And she said, my email has been hacked. And I don't even know if, don't ever respond if it's from this certain email. So all of these sentences between this person and I kept asking why. I mean, I'm sorry you've been hacked, but I did not connect emails being hacked with I was scammed. not by this person, but by the one who got her email. So one of the questions I'd had was, do I show up with my feelings? When the feelings don't look like love, love feels like, oh, I'm one with the world, I'm one with you, I'm in the flow. These feelings of anger, fear, stress, guilt that I helped, guilt that I'm mad, shame, and that maybe I'm not good enough because I have these feelings and this person was just helping someone, and a little bit confusing. What's the loving thing and what is the God-centered approach here? Finally, I wrote my last letter before I realized I was being scammed. Was, I am not willing to have my peace lost over this arrangement with you. So whether you pay or you don't pay, my peace is not dependent on that. I love you. I continue to see you as perfect. I don't understand the situation, but I'm good with that. And the woman never did say you were scammed. She just repeated one more time, I was scammed. And I did hear something about people asking for money, but I thought that was a separate deal from her request of me. So, had I not shared my feelings, let's say I wasn't being scammed, and this is just the person who is befuddled because their bank card is being confused and their email was hacked, and they're not being very forthcoming about paying me. Is the loving response to just be, oh, well, I think that's a short-sighted view of trust. What do you think? Is trust saying yes to every scammer? Obviously not. So then, what are we trusting? Are we trusting of this world? Or are we trusting the deeper experience that I don't know what anything is for, that all is well no matter how it looks, all is well even if I'm out $400. And by the way, there was another $400 request, but by that time, I was kind of annoyed by the woman, and she had asked me in this email to go to a grocery store now or a drugstore, buy the Google card for $400 because she should have asked me in the beginning, but she also needs some money for her applications of her devices. And I was like, this can wait. I still wasn't suspicious. This can wait. And how about you send me $800, because there's a lot of ways this can go wrong. I have to scratch it, then I have to email you, then I have to buy it. I don't think I want to be involved. I'll still help you, but first you send the $800. Well, it all died out there, as you can experience. The scammers thought they found really somebody just perfect for their schemes. So because I approved this with Amazon, because it was the woman's birthday, and I was really adamant that they help me get it to this woman on her birthday because her parents had died of COVID. Well, you know, somebody's parents did die of COVID. I don't feel stupid or wrong. I'm sorry that I fell for it. I don't think I'll be buying anybody a Google Play card again. I don't care what the circumstances are. The person lives outside the country, so we never talked by phone, and that made sense. So it fit with the scammer. I've, of course, changed all my securities in case they're working on me. What's left? The person and I have a healed relationship. At first, it was like, how am I going to go back to class with this person? The way I could have made a story out of the way they've treated me. I was like, no. I wasn't going to go there. Every time I tried to have a story like that, you know, I gave this, they didn't give that. I was there for you. What's going on? I didn't go with it. The temptation was there to go with it. That old me is ready to pop out if given the opportunity. Then I would go back and say, you're being quiet. I don't know what's going on, but I don't really want these stories about you, so talk to me. Anyway, it's all good with this person. I am probably not going to get a refund. I'm probably out the $400. My husband and I have some joint accounts and some separate accounts, and we agreed to share the cost of this learning together. So the hit is only $200. Neither my husband or I are mad. I'm relieved that my friend from class isn't a kook. I'm relieved that my judgment that this is a good person and that I would help this person, even though I don't know them very well. They don't have to be my best friend. I'm glad. What do you take from this story? What do you take about trust? What are we supposed to trust if we go by a course? We're supposed to trust, I think, the deeper messages from Holy Spirit, from God, from the I, not the me that reacts, but the I that's always been there. That's the embodiment of God, of the Christ. Thank you for going on this journey with me, and I hope it provokes some questions for you. What would you have done? What would you have felt? What does trust mean for you in an example like this? Thank you. See you next time. Bye.